Months after Hurricane Sandy, most New Yorkers have recovered. But in one neighborhood, the crisis is getting worse. This is one of the areas hardest hit by the storm. This is one of the poorest neighborhoods in America. This is Far Rockaway. Over half of the public housing projects in Queens are located here. Already in poor shape before the storm, Sandy has turned these buildings into a major health hazard. In a recent survey, 60% of residents reported mold in their homes. Moisture is everywhere, reaching into the upper stories. Sandy has accelerated the decay of lead paint and corroded pipes, contaminating the air and the water.
We've been having, patients come in with full body rashes after taking a shower. So it's like, what does that say about our water system?
The bathtub has been backed up since Sandy. Fumes started coming out. Me and my daughter had to be rushed to the hospital. They taped over the hole and said they would come back, and I haven't heard from anybody.
2 weeks after the storm had hit, I went into an apartment. It was an apartment with 14 people in it, 7 of them kids under the age of 5. And 2 weeks later, they were still sleeping in beds that were wet. Water was still seeping up in their floors. The parents were sleeping on mildewed bed. One of the children had a fever of 103. I had to say in my mind, am I in America right now?
The New York City Housing Authority, which is responsible for providing and maintaining public housing, has been slow to act. 2 months after Sandy, in the dead of winter, 29% of residents still had no heat. NYCHA has sent some cleanup crews, but they are far from enough.
This is what it looks like after NYCHA clean. This looked like it was a fire in here, and it was no fire. This is just mold. And now they want to just paint over the apartment. That's not going to help anything. It's just going to grow back. Can you smell it?
Prolonged exposure to mold can cause asthma and respiratory illnesses in otherwise healthy children, but it's just one of the many problems that NYCHA has neglected in the projects for decades.
A lot of the issues that were there before are still there and are exacerbated since Sandy struck. It's peeling paint, it's burst pipes in the wall.
We have to tie bags onto these pipes to keep water from leaking down on you.
Broken windows, broken appliances, bad water. It's just overall living conditions, things that would be intolerable in any other development that NYCHA's been getting away with for years.
Meanwhile, FEMA has systematically withheld aid from this community.
There's an automatic clause in FEMA to where you deny folks who are on welfare automatically. Then you make them go fill out a small business loan, whereas if you could qualify for a small business loan, you wouldn't have to be on welfare.
People always suspected that the government didn't have their back, and I think they finally got that confirmation.
Where the government has fallen short, local community organizations like the Action Center have struggled to fill the gap. But with few resources, it's an uphill battle.
A lot of people don't put a lot of effort into this community, being that it's low income. We asked for a respiratory mask, and we got it a month later. But they had it down here, 30 blocks away, they had it. So what makes us so different?
These are Americans living in third world conditions. They have nowhere else to go. Your donation can help save Far Rockaway. Funding is needed for mold removal, children's programs, medical care, legal programs, and job training. The alternative is to wait, to let the problems grow worse, to watch American children grow up in a decaying slum, drinking polluted water and breathing contaminated air.
Now's the time for all of us to look in the mirror and find our humanity regardless of who we are, what title's in front of our name, because we do have an opportunity to make a difference here.
To donate, visit www.theactioncenter.com.